First Lady Jill Biden is now being criticized by Republicans for supporting her husband staying in the presidential race. Republicans' latest freakout is over this. Her August Vogue cover that was released today, Jill Biden told Vogue that they, quote, will not let those 90 minutes define the 4 years he's been president. We will continue to fight, and, quote, we'll always do what's best for the country.
As a reminder, this was Jill Biden following her husband's disastrous debate performance.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts. And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Yes.
Reacting online, Meghan McCain tweeted, quote, Jill Biden will not be remembered kindly in American history. Meanwhile, billionaire and CEO of Pershing Square, Bill Ackman, tweeted, quote, I no longer blame POTUS Biden for not stepping aside. He no longer has the mental acuity to make important judgments about himself. It's becoming increasingly clear, however, the fault lies with FLOTUS Jill Biden. First Lady Jill Biden has become irrelevant. Jill Biden becomes irrelevant the moment that her husband is no longer president. Yes, lots of discussion of Jill Biden's role in all of this lately. I think that Vogue cover was not well-timed, given that so many people are, I think, blaming her for encouraging Joe Biden to run for re-election in the first place and to stick it out now. I mean, I've heard people ask, why is she subjecting him to this?
Clearly, right? Just blame the wife. Let's blame the wife for the decisions of an entire cabal of individuals, right? I mean,
but he said he's listening to his family.
What is she supposed to do as a public figure? Truly, what is she supposed to do as a public figure? Get up there at the rally and say what? Joe, I'm going to say in front of millions and millions of people.
Obviously not.
Right, but when she does the stand by your man thing, apparently that's not good enough either. Melania doesn't even show up for stuff. She didn't show up for the debate. She's not there at all. At least, I mean, Jill Biden.
I don't think she wanted him to run again. I don't think she wanted him to run in the first place.
Again, the woman in a public setting, a smart woman who is playing the public role of wife, is not in an easy spot. So if there are problems with the Democratic Party and how they're making decisions, that is not Jill Biden.
But what if she is the one who made the decision? What if she was the one who convinced him that he should? If she's convincing him,
I'm not interested in getting into anyone's. That's what we're hearing. That's what we're hearing about somebody else's marriage right now. What I do know that they've said, what they've said about their marriage, right? What they have said, and what I do admire about their marriage. I will say this. Then this goes back, because Joe Biden's been around for decades. And I think people relate to this when we are reminded of this story of how, at the death of his young wife and his child, Joe Biden not only was a single father for many years, he also then married a woman who embraced the stepchildren as her own family. And that is not easy to do. It is not easy to find that woman. It is not easy to be that woman. So I have a lot of respect for their marriage, which is separate from, which is
like a lovely wife and mother.
The whole thing about Jill Biden will not be remembered, go down well in history because she stood up there and told her husband.
For pushing.
There are many women, by the way. There are many women who lie to their husbands' faces all the time. Not saying it's a good idea or that you should continue to do that, but that is how many marriages work. And if that's a discussion we have. Got it.
I don't want to discuss marriage.
We can do relationship counseling.
We're not.
But the idea of taking their marriage and saying that she's responsible for his choices, come on. He's a grown man. He's a grown man. He's choosing to stay in.
Very simple thing, which is that she seems to be encouraging him to run for re-election. That's the reporting I've heard is that she was all in for it, and so this situation we're in, where Joe Biden, many people are concerned he doesn't have that he could do the job of being president again, given the cognitive decline, and that it is somewhat, she's the one to blame for having made this be the choice before us right now, that it's her. That's the criticism she's getting.
Because apparently a man a man who has been in public office forever, who actually started his, it was one of the things he said about his debate. He's like, oh, I used to be criticized for being too young, and now I'm considered too old. I'm like, because you've been around for a really long time, guy. But that man suddenly blamed the woman for that man's choices, who, even in the last 4 years, clearly there have been many, many people around him who are supporting this, and many supporters who still want to see Biden run, and keep that infrastructure and all the things they talk about. And who you surround yourself as president, it does matter to the world, right? Not just the country, it matters to the world. And staffers who have a very intimate relationship with a president, and yes, that's the question: is are staff and other people watching out for their power?
I mean, are we going to be
versus what's better for him?
Are we going to be?
I feel like
situation?
that is a more, to me, that is more in line with what makes sense politically than to throw in, let's blame the wife for what is a power system of people who do not like to step away from power. Don't blame the wife for being the one to not tell him he should step away from power.
So during Woodrow Wilson's second term, from 1916 to 1920, he had just gotten back from Europe. We're dealing with the World War I stuff, and he had a debilitating stroke. And Edith Wilson was effectively the president at the time. She controlled who got access to him, she decided which papers he would read every day, which things he would respond to. She ran the White House completely herself because she was concerned about his health, and she didn't want to tax him. And she would decide, is this important enough that he does have to read it, or is it not? And if it's not, he's not going to see it. He's not going to deal with it. And
another one who did that.
People are a lot of comparisons to a situation we could find ourselves in if Joe Biden is reelected.
Well, Ronald Reagan, right? The naps he used to take in meetings, and even on camera just fall asleep in meetings.
Well, I'm now told 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. is all you should expect from your president.
And apparently, Nancy Reagan, remember about this, and she had a psychic that she liked to get all this information from, and that was a whole thing about, is this psychic through the First Lady? Is that actually how things are running these days? So yes, the relationships around a president absolutely matter. And they're fascinating and they're interesting. But when it's a pylon like this, I think it's fair to call out that there's other dynamics at play than just really being concerned about the state of the presidency.
Somebody had tweeted Ronald Reagan's final press conference in response to the debate the other day, and so I did watch it. He is so sharp, and so he thinks, he's taking hostile questions from media reporters, and he doesn't lose a single second. He's weighing in on a vast range of topics, and I kept thinking, and people were saying that they were worried this guy was too old, or this guy has a touch of Alzheimer's setting in about this performance. There is no comparison to what we're seeing now.
But to the Nancy Reagan point, right? Like, it's debate the president's faculties here and there, but the First Lady has always come under scrutiny for how much or how little influence that she has on a president. And it's a really tough job for a modern woman to do. And just, give her some grace for backing up her guy.
I never believed for a second that Melania had any influence over Trump, over policy, over anything of a policy nature ever. For what she did was like decorate the White House Christmas display in a way I thought was kind of cool, and she has a good sense of style, and that's all. She was not involved in policy, and that's totally fine, and she's cool, and that's fine.
We're not talking about Jill being involved in policy. We're talking about her telling her husband that she's backing him up because he's the one who's making the decision to run again. He is the one doing this, and she's backing up her husband by showing up.
Okay. That does it for us for today on Rising. Thank you so much for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any of our content. And for those of you who like to listen while on the go, we're now available anywhere you listen to podcasts. Going to be trying out some new guest co-hosts on Rising in the coming days, so you won't want to miss that. I'll see you back here tomorrow.